And just a reminder, if people are popping on right now, you want to be sure that you have signed the fractally contributor agreement. If any new people are jumping on, I'm going to post that again in the chat for you. You can get your Hive account also if you don't already. This is the time. You have time right now before we start the actual meeting. And welcome to everybody who's just joining us. Welcome back. And thank you for being here. If you have a question or you want to mention something, you can put it in the chat. You can also raise your hand and I'll unmute you or give you the ability to unmute yourself. Oh, that's a good question. Tim's asking, can we share the deck with folks that are actively recruiting? Yeah, I haven't actually made a PDF of that, so I think I'll make that and post that and make it available for you if you want to use it. Although I think maybe just in addition to maybe giving them that, just recommend that they RSVP to that pre-meeting where we spoon feed it to them. And they can also ask questions if they have any.
We can also put together a video that we put to YouTube so that people can watch it at any time. Right now, things are changing every week slightly, but as we refine this, we can get that boiled down to something they can watch.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And then we just play the video in the intro. Anyone can do it.
I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge Josh, who's done tremendous work on putting these slides together and communicating everything. And I interrupted before I even saw where your presentation was going. You did a great job of covering my points. So thank you for that. I'd like to welcome all the new people who are involved and remind everyone that just by being here, you are providing value. The value you are providing is helping us reach consensus on who's providing the greatest value to the cause, and that is valuable in its own right. The other thing I think we need to remind everyone is that no week is perfect. There's no such thing as a fair or accurate outcome. The expectation is that we are all flawed measurement tools. We're trying to measure something that is subjective and hard to measure. And in the scientific world, the way you deal with instrument limitations on your ability to measure is to take multiple measurements over time and average. And so that's why we're using this process. We've got 34 people on the call right now. We're all providing a measurement. It's being averaged. You're randomly assigned to groups, which means that different groups are going to be coming to different consensus process, which is also helping to average and enhance the measurement. So don't get discouraged because of any single outcome. Sometimes you'll be assigned with people who have contributed a lot. Maybe there's lots of people that contribute a lot in one group. That doesn't mean that just because your rank is lower that your contributions are less valuable. They can be reconsidered in subsequent weeks with different random people that you're assigned. It's equally likely that you could have a group of people that have done nothing but show up to this meeting, and somebody's going to get rank 6 just for showing up for the meeting. So it is fair and distributed over time, and so it's really about managing your expectations so that you don't feel upset if you're in a group that doesn't fully appreciate your contributions. It doesn't devalue your contributions. Your contributions are still valuable, and other people in different groups in subsequent weeks might value it. And if they don't, then that's actually a sign that the community has reached consensus that that particular type of contribution is not valued as much as other contributions. And it's an opportunity to learn what other people value so that you can contribute the types of things that the community values. I'd like to remind everyone that the intention is these points will eventually be put on a blockchain, uh, and that will be a huge improvement. So the whole fractally process is going to be put on a blockchain that uses fractal governance to govern the blockchain itself. And I've requested changes and commitments from the EOS community to move toward a fractal governance and away from a token weighted governance. But one way or another, there's going to be a blockchain that uses this process to govern what's happening. So I'm really excited about that potential because this will be a first in the blockchain space. We've got proof of work, we've got proof of stake, and now we have proof of consensus. And what's unique about this particular process is that it's not just about measuring consensus, it's about actually building consensus. Traditional systems and alternative things that are out there, casting votes and whatnot, they're an attempt to measure consensus, but they don't actually facilitate building the consensus in the first place. So that's what's unique about what we're doing here. And of course, as we move in that direction, early contributors who are showing up before we have technology, before it's on an automated blockchain, we're going to bias the respect distribution higher toward the earlier contributors than the later contributors, because everyone here is taking greater risk and helping adopt things early. So please invite people who are passionate about what we're doing to contribute early and often, because that is going to have a long-term impact on tokens that govern a real blockchain in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan. Does anyone have any questions? We still have a few minutes here before we go into our breakout rooms. Any new people here today? For the first time? Is this your first meeting, Chris? Nice. I'm going to help you unmute yourself if you want to mention something. Glad you're here.
Yeah, first meeting. I was intending to come a bit earlier to some of the previous meetings, but I'm looking forward to this. I've just signed the document as well.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thanks.
I'm really curious to get your feedback after today.
Sure.
Well, should we play some bossa nova or what's going on? Everyone's kind of quiet.
If anybody has any contributions they'd like to share or news that they think is good for the community, go ahead and raise up and we can share it while we wait. Part of this waiting process is just to stick to the time schedule that everyone's expecting, so that as people show up, they have time to be ready. So yeah, raise your hand.
Okay, let's go to Mel, and then we'll go to Matt, and then Patrick. Mel, let me help you unmute yourself. You're unmuted. We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. You can hear me, yes?
Yes.
No, sorry. Yeah, I'm currently out in the park in sunny Essex, and I would love to join, but unfortunately I can't seem to get the Hive account working. But anyway, I'll do it next week. But yeah, just to let you know, set up EOS London recently, and you've probably seen on Pomelo requests for funding, etc., for the grant. But in the future, I would like just to let you know, I'd like to be able to start training on fractally within the EOS London branding and well, not actually branding, but in that channel, in that group, we've got a meetup group, and EOS London Telegram group. But yeah, once we start cracking and moving with events and going forward, I'd like to, once we've got sort of understand how we're going to go forward with training, etc. Later on, this is obviously not now, but once once everyone's sort of aware how we proceed, I'd like to start setting up a group training session for people, for the general public and communities to come together in the new fractally, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Trying to get new people on board and changing the world. That's just to let you know that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I hope you guys set up a parallel society that uses fractal governance, and then maybe who was the high profile person? Brian Rose from London Real. Maybe he'll run for mayor again, but he'll have a more stimulating platform. You know, if he's talking about your vote actually counting or something like that, could be interesting for London. Thanks, Mel. That's awesome. We'll go to Matt next, and then Patrick, and then Jorge.
Thanks, Josh. So this is sort of a comment and an observation from the Pacific Northwest. So I've been discussing fractal governance. This is sort of just, I think, of general interest. I hope it's of general interest to all of you. I've been discussing fractal governance with very non-technical people. They're very rural people, nurses, and they're mainly professional, but they're fascinated by fractal governance. I've bought several of these and just given them away. People read them and they come to me and they want to ask questions. And they want me to, I've been invited to give a little talk in a small little town, but there's a real interest in something new and different to govern themselves. In my opinion, it's too technical for them to join Genesis, but they understand that, but they want to be involved somehow. They want a fractal in their own little towns, or they want to be involved, but they want a new system. So there's a hunger for this, Dan, Josh, everyone, that is very palpable and very real. And it really drives me to want to, more and more be a part of this community and to try to bring this to the common people.
Absolutely. I think setting this up in local areas is probably the most valuable thing we can contribute to the planet right now.
I'd like to add to what you just said. When I share it with people that I run into, whether they're Uber drivers or anyone who is interested, they say, well, how do we fix the problem with our country? And they express the frustration that it doesn't matter how you vote, there's no good options on who you can vote for. And what I point out is it doesn't matter. The system is fundamentally stacked against you. Even if the votes are perfectly honest and there's no cheating or anything like that, the system is going to devolve in the way that we've seen it devolved, and it needs to be changed at a structural level. And when once that clicks, they realize, well, we have to do something different because the voting system as it's structured is not going to allow us to get the change we want. And no one wants to have a violent revolution. So what's the other alternative? Fractally is the alternative to a violent revolution after you acknowledge the fact that the existing voting system can't change.
Yeah, one thing that occurs to me is the differences between the way Eden's currently practicing fractal elections, which we just had the previous Eden election last weekend, and a reminder that you could mention any of your contributions related to that in your meetings today, and it would probably count, and people would respect that as moving us further toward the mission. Of course, Eden is the genesis of fractally Genesis in a lot of ways, but in the Eden election, you're supposed to be selecting for representatives, much like how you do regular political elections. Whereas in fractally, we're doing things a little bit differently. Dan, I don't know if today you want to comment on that, but it is interesting how immediately applicable something like what your team has created for Eden, can be deployed in a local area, and whereas with what we're currently doing, it's sort of like compensating people for their contributions to public goods and stuff like that.
Yeah, the main difference is, and I know we have just 60 seconds, and if you have any questions, we can answer them after the breakout session. The main difference between what Eden's doing and what we're doing here with Fractally is we're looking at contributions already made instead of promises of contributions to come. The main difference is anyone can promise a big future, and everyone competing to promise a big future is very different from delivering stuff that's already valuable, and then seeking recognition for the stuff you've already given to the community. And that's what Fractally attempts to do, which removes the need to have accountability for the representatives, right? If you pick someone to represent you on Eden and they don't do what they say they're going to do, what's your recourse? On Fractally, you contribute to the community because you trust the community generally as a whole. And then when the community recognizes you, then you get your respect. Otherwise, the community has to trust you as an individual, and then the community has to reach consensus on whether or not you followed through. And individuals might be more fallible in the worst case scenario than the community. So the community is sort of like average case in its performance, but individuals can be really good or really bad, and it's really hard to predict the outcome. So I think Fractally turns the order around so that the individuals take the risk up front of contributing to the community, and then the community's job as a whole is to identify what is valuable and recognizing those people reliably and consistently. And I think the biggest challenge we're going to face is making sure that everyone knows the types of things that actually do provide value, so that we can recognize it. All right, it's time for the breakout rooms, I believe.
It is, and we're ready to go. So we're going to have 6 breakout rooms today of 5 to 6 participants, and we are going to go in them to them now, and we'll come back, Jorge and Gokul, for your questions afterwards, if you don't mind. Thanks, Dan, and let's get ready to fractal. The rooms are open.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Hello.
It's going good, everybody. Good to see you all.
Some familiar faces. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Well, how's everyone doing?
Doing well.
It is cool. Like I've been in a room with Atma, but I've seen others, but first time being in a room with everyone else. So looking forward to meeting everyone.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, it's kind of opposite for me a bit, I guess. I was in a room with Tim, and I met Tadas last week, and Felix we've never spoken before, but we've texted a bit, and of course I love your work. And Atma, I've seen you posting around, but I don't think we've met yet, and I've appreciated your contributions a lot. So yeah, it's great to see everybody.
So what I've been normally doing every week is I take that PDF and then I go and highlight like everybody that's in the room, and then I'll send a screenshot in the group text so we can kind of see where we rank up, and then kind of use that as a metric to how we want to rank each other this week as well. So
Sounds good.
I don't know if somebody kind of wants to start and we kind of go around and talk about our contributions and stuff, and I'll get this list going.
Cool. Sounds good. I also just want to say that I'm recording as well.
Okay.
So should we start with just a brief round of introductions where we just say like hello, and then maybe get into our like 3 to 5 minute presentations after just a quick round, or is there any way that everybody wants to do it?
Yeah, I'm open to however you guys want to run it. Yeah, I guess I would be interested to see who all participated in the Eden election. I know I've seen a couple of you guys there, but yeah, I think that would be kind of important for us to talk about, because Eden is, it's the government's, it's on the same path, of like fractally. Like there's obviously a correlation. So.
Yeah, sounds good. And there was super exciting news in the past week with Eden. I have a presentation that I shared during the Eden election that I'll share in a bit here. That's pretty related to Eden and fractally. And by the way, my name is Dancing Joy, and yep, it's nice to see you all and meet you all again too.
So does I guess one thing that I've kind of seen when everyone's at a standstill is like someone will kind of offer to be like I guess the MC, and then based off their screen they'll go around their screen and of like who should go next to talk.
Okay.
Do you guys want to do that or?
Well, yeah. So if you want to do that, Felix, that's cool. Or if anybody else wants to do that, that's cool too. Or if anybody wants to go, I can just like elect like Tadas or Tim or Atmo or whoever to go next, or Felix.
Okay. I'm just now finishing up. We're gonna screen capture all the rankings real quick. Okay. Chat.
So has everyone entered the name Felix? I've written your name in the chat. Maybe I'm wrong. Your hive name. Ah, yes.
Yep. Sorry. My name is Lime Flash on there. Okay. I guess I can go ahead and MC if you guys want. And I'll go ahead. Start from the top left and go counterclockwise. So Tim Taylor, you are first.
All right. Hey, everyone. I do recognize I've been in rooms with everyone but Tadas, I believe. So nice to meet you, Tadas. I'm Tim Taylor in Texas. That was our connection last time, Felix. Now that I see your Texas Tech shirt. So yeah, both in Texas. Glad to be here. I met Dan some time back, and he gave me one of his books. So once I consumed that, it generated a lot of questions for me. So in interacting with Dan, essentially recruited by Dan, I guess you could say that, wanted to become a part of what's going on. So I've been showing up every week. I think I've missed 1 week. You can see the consolidated scoring. Thank you, Felix, for providing that. So my contribution is I continue to recruit people in organizations. None have stuck yet. I think a lot of them are in a wait and see mode, so to speak. So that's why I asked the question about the presentation. I think that'll help in the recruiting efforts if we have that video and some collateral to go with it. Yeah, the organization I'm trying to recruit is what I'll call a Bitcoin purist group. So when you bring up altcoins, they're not very open to it. However, the way that they're trying to organize their community effort, this concept would help them tremendously. So that's my angle with them. So yeah, that's my contribution. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'm next on on my screen. So yeah, Tim, I recognized your name when I was going through, and I was like, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago, it was like basically we were all from Texas in our group. Yeah, so I guess yeah, that it's just Tadas and Dan. I mean, I've talked to Dan, but I've never talked to you before, Tadas. But I mean, if you got, I make content around EOS, or that's what I've been doing. My contributions towards the Eden and fractally have been more passive. I talk to friends when when I see the opportunity, I let people know. I always have the screensaver on my Zoom calls for basically all any meeting that I set up. So that kind of hopefully adds to opening conversation. So like last week in the Eden election, there was one guy who was he's never been to fractally. He had heard about it, and I like to push and encourage. I like the mindset of that. It doesn't, like, we don't need to be hurt by being ranked last. It's about us being here is a valuable contribution, and us being here early too is gonna really multiply. So that's kind of like, I guess, my biggest thing that I feel like I'm kind of contributing as of right now is just kind of being that voice of like reassuring, like, hey guys, let's keep the sentiment positive, and just let's keep showing up and building on some momentum that's like really building in all around in this community and the EOS community. And I think we're in exciting times. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say thanks, Felix, too. You've been speaking up during the post section of the last Eden election. You shared some like really inspiring thoughts, and also during some recent Fractally meetings, you've been talking up. So I've been appreciating that a lot. In addition to all your other work, it's just been cool to hear you sharing that enthusiasm and so forth.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. So next on my list, I got Tadas. I hope that's how you say your name. Sorry if I said that wrong.
Yeah, that's a good pronunciation. Yeah, so nice to meet everyone I haven't met yet. It's good to see you all. Yeah, so last few weeks I've been sharing a bit dance ideas and also participating in fractally brainstorming sessions regarding how to build fractally on EOS. Yeah, I submitted one proposal for network funding, basically about how a fractal built on EOS could be funded using funds from EOS. And yeah, in that meeting we also discussed my idea and also another proposal. I've got some feedback for my idea. Later I made some changes to my proposal, and I also got to understand better the other proposal, and later I made some suggestions for how some of my concerns regarding the other proposal could be addressed by changing it. Yeah, and I also participated in a conference this week in my local city. It's a blockchain-related conference, and I shared some fractally ideas with a couple of people there. One person was particularly interested in DAOs, so he said he was going to read the white paper. Maybe I will be able to get him to join someday. And yeah, I also shared Dan's book with a couple of people, but yeah, that's about all for, yeah. Thanks.
I think that Felix is trying to speak, but he's muted right now, if I'm correct.
Yep, that was my bad. Yeah, I was just saying thank you. Next I have Atma, and then it goes Dan.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So since the last meeting, which was 2 weeks ago, I mean, I've read all of Dan's Telegram and Twitter posts. I retweeted all the Fractally posts last week, or rather this week. I don't think I did the week before. I've been discussing fractal governance with a couple of friends who came to my house. I've been researching a little bit HyphaDAO, which is built on EOS, potentially to use for a local, well, a spiritual community that I'm attempting to build around where I live. So my intention is to run that as a DAO with fractal governance. So I'm sort of thinking about it quite a lot, and talking about it on some of my in comments on Hive, in posts. I haven't made a post the last couple of weeks particularly about Fractally, but the 3 posts I have made, I always now have a signature which basically invites people to come to the meeting and help change the world. So that's about all I've done the last couple of weeks, not as much as before, but I'm a little bit active. I've recruited one new person since the last meeting. And my position in the last meeting was 5. So that's my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Atma.
Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, I think, yep, Dan, you're next.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Felix. And yeah, thanks, Atma and Tadas and Tim as well. I'd love to hear more about the work that you're doing, Atma and Tim. It sounds really exciting, and also Tadas too. And it was great meeting you, and thanks for sharing that proposal at the Fractally meeting. I hope to see you there again for the Fractally and EOS meeting. That was super inspiring, and also all the other great awareness and stuff you've been doing. So I have a presentation that I'll share in a few minutes. It's quite a long presentation I've been like building up basically every week, and I'll just kind of breeze through it and give you a high-level overview of what I've been doing with a new media outlet and community called Eden Creators, and also what I've been doing for fractal governance. I was ranked 6th last week, and yeah, I've been working on this like pretty much constantly. We're working on all sorts of things around this. So yeah, and please feel free to jump in at any point if you have any questions or anything like that, or have any comments. So yep. By the way, I'm Dan Singjoy, and I'm a musician, creator, and entrepreneur working to make the best experience possible. And so for week 7 of the Fractal, or I guess week 6 or 7, whatever this is what I'm doing to promote the adoption of fractal governance. The main thing that I did this week was with Eden Creators. So I've been building a what I intend to be a DAO and a fractal called Eden Creators for about the past year or so. And there's a lot of really exciting things about it. Basically, it is right now it's a media outlet to help everyone cooperate fractally and make the best experience possible, promoting fractal governance a lot. And so this week I made a presentation that I shared in the Eden election, and I built a lot of the website, edencreators.com, and I'm also participating in the Fractally brainstorming sessions and talked about it on the EOS Hot Sauce, which I started hosting last month, and I made some social media posts. So this is the logo, Cosmic Key logo for Eden Creators. And yep, so I shared this presentation and I made a bunch of like cool artwork and explained it well, kind of based it off some Fractally work. And I was elected as an Eden delegate on the platform to fund an EOS Fractal and Fractal forums, which I'm excited to do in the future. And I also shared the video. It's on the website. I haven't really shared much of it yet publicly because the website's still kind of under development, but people can see it there. There's like a 5-minute presentation that's kind of similar to this one, like kind of same sort of art and stuff, same kind of vibe. So Eden Creators is creating amazing content to help everyone understand the benefits of fractal cooperation. I wrote an about page that talks about how a lot of it was inspired by Felix, actually. Felix has been doing really great work that was very inspiring for it. And yeah, so in addition to sharing that presentation, I've been spending a lot of time building the website for Eden Creators. I created a debut music video, or I shared it, but I have to redo it a little bit, but it's mostly out there, which has a song that I wrote about Eden last year, and I made a music video, and I combined it with the previous Fractal presentation. So I'm going to share that to help people understand lots of things about Fractally and Eden Creators, and lots of exciting things that I'm building with that for all sorts of exciting communities that I'm aiming to launch and building the seeds of with Eden Creators, and all sorts of content, videos and writing and art and so forth. I also wrote a Pomelo pitch, which I'll be promoting soon. So here's a bit of writing that I shared on the Pomelo pitch and the website. I won't have a chance to read it all here, but I'll share a PDF or something at some point, and so people can read it. But I think basically I'm explaining most of it, basically aiming to just create a lot of great content, music and videos and art and writing and blog posts and so forth, and then have Telegram channels and everything like that to help people understand the benefits of fractal governance and fractal cooperation, because it's so helpful in EOS and Eden and Fractally. So that's the music video that I'm working on, and that's a presentation that I've been sharing in previous ones. This is the first video from Eden Creators that I shared last year, and I'm also just curating like the videos and the art and all sorts of things like that. So then I also participated in the Fractally and EOS brainstorming sessions. I helped a bit to produce the video, and Tadas's idea inspired me to talk about bootstrapping fractally on EOS with Pomelo as a credibly neutral mechanism for allocating funds to different fractals. So I was very thankful for Tadas. He kind of suggested that, and I think it's a really helpful idea to explore more in the future. And then I also spoke at the meeting and invited everybody to join the fireside chat and the EOS hot sauce. So there's a bunch of people in the community who are listening. You can see a picture of the most recent meeting here. I encourage everybody to attend on Mondays. It's really cool and fun. And then I also tweeted about it after I shared it on the EOS hot sauce. So there's that, and then the EOS hot sauce I shared last day, and I wrote and hosted 3 segments about EOS and Eden and Fractally, or Eden and Fractally, fractal cooperation, and I also made a tweet thread to help spread the word more and to help amplify it and so forth. So I put some work into just like picking some cool videos and then giving some timestamps to make it easy for people to watch these sections about fractal cooperation. And then I also posted it in several different Telegram groups just to spread the word more. And then I also just made a couple more social media posts to help spread the word more about Fractally. I reposted Josh's tweet. He made a great tweet just promoting it this morning. And I got back to Douglas. He asked a great question. So I talked about coopetition, which I love, cooperating and competing, which I think can be really helpful for Eden and Fractally in general and stuff. And then I also kind of hinted at or suggested starting to do fractal meetings with Eden, awarding EOS, and saying that I'd love to use my Eden delegate budget to fund those events. And then, yep, here's a bit of the presentation, but I'm out of time now, so at another time I can show you more of the presentation or check out the video. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Hope that makes sense. And yep, thanks everybody again for being here as well.
Awesome. Yeah, you come very well prepared, and it's sweet. I like
Yeah.
I like your commitment, and then I mean you're obviously very well respected within this community. And yeah, just keep up your great work. I like it's very awesome that like to receive, like, I guess you said you were inspired by me, and that's just humbling because like I think you're doing amazing work, and just keep on moving. And I'm so bullish right now. It's crazy. I just this, especially this last week, I've just been like, man, is it time? Like, are we experiencing, like, it just seems almost like a movie almost. It just feels like that. Like a lot of the intangibles are there, and this could be an amazing comeback story. I mean, this goes more on EOS, but I do, kind of my mission of being involved with Fractally as well is like, and I do want to try to make some time to hop on that the EOS Fractally meetings, because yeah, I want to bridge that gap. I think that's very important, to be a bridge between two teams that aren't seeing eye to eye necessarily right now, but if we have a community that is working on consensus, to build consensus between the two, then that's just a beautiful thing. So
yeah, absolutely. And thanks so much, Felix. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad you like it. And as I said many times, I really love your work, and I love the work that everybody's doing to help share the word and inspire people about fractal governance, fractal cooperation, and EOS. And yeah, I agree. It's super, super bullish. And it's also awesome hearing you talk about it like I was saying before. So yeah, thank you.
all right. So how would you guys like to do the ranking? I feel like this week's going to be a little tough.
Yeah. I think the thing that's worked real well in my previous experience is someone recommend, the top spot. And then let's be clear on what 6 means. And then, because 6 is the highest rank contribution. And then we just, debate if we want to. But I'm going to recommend Dan be in that top spot for sure.
I'll second that. I have no opposition to that.
Well,
I'll third that.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that as well. Like, the amount of work that Dan is doing is really impressive.
Agree.
well, thanks everybody. I
All
really
right.
appreciate that. I'm happy to help too. And also, I mean, I'm happy to accept that as well. But I mean, there's also some, I don't know, trepidation because you guys are all doing amazing work too. So I'm happy and I'm very glad. I have been working really hard. But then also just, everybody's doing such amazing work as well.
Another thing though too, I think I've started writing down like the amount of respect tokens that are paired. I didn't really know that initially. I had to even look it up again today, but I guess hopefully with memory, but basically, so the rank 6, the number one, or yeah, so 6, rank 1, you get 21 tokens, and then it goes 13, then 8, then 5, then 3, then 2. Just for those who didn't know. So yeah, so for rank 5, anybody have a recommendation? This one will be receiving 13 tokens or respect.
Yeah, I would say to that.
So I would say Felix probably. Although I also really appreciate Tadas's work too very much. It's been super inspiring. And also Tim and Atma. As I said, I'm probably repeating myself too much, but I appreciate it very much, and I'm really excited to learn more about both of your work. But Felix's work I've been following for a while, and during this past week, I was super inspired by that speech he gave during Eden, and I think he's also doing a great job emceeing right now too. And then also Tadas. I wasn't aware of your work, Tadas, before last week, I don't think, but I really appreciate the proposal. But personally, my vote would be for Felix to be number 5, but I'd be happy to do it differently as well.
Yeah, I second the Felix recommendation. I've been following your stuff on YouTube, Felix, and you do some great work.
I have no objections.
I also feel like Felix, you I've seen a few rounds. You've been ranked like 2 or 3 or 1, maybe. I'm not sure exactly where, but I feel like the work. I feel like you're being pretty modest about being kind of. You're saying how like you're kind of passively helping, but I feel like you're being pretty active in like helping be a leadership role, and then just the amazing work you did like over the past year making those videos and so forth, and helping to lead as one of the first chief delegates. I feel like that all adds up, and you've done a lot of really helpful work.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I like I said, I think for me, I do like advocating for I the consensus is the most important thing. Not burning any bridges, everyone feeling like everyone's being heard, and I think when I do start, like, I do have plans on making content around fractally in the future. That's when I would probably push a little bit to be ranked a little bit harder when I would release that. But I do like to hear that input. That makes me feel good that I think that I don't like to step on people's toes, but at the same time, I do like to see and hear what the community is feeling, and then lean on you guys as well. So I appreciate all you guys for that support.
Okay, so we have consensus on Felix's 5 then, right?
Yep.
And then 4, I would suggest Tadas.
Agree.
Although also, I mean, we do have like 18 minutes left, I think, until we have to reach consensus. And I don't know, maybe jumping the gun a bit because I know Tadas's work more. And to be honest, like as Atma and Tim were explaining, I was kind of just trying to absorb it. So maybe if Tim or Atma or Tadas wants to explain more, I think we have a bit of time to explain more, and I'm happy to change the rankings around or just hear more in general if anybody wants to share more.
Yeah, I would just share on my end. It's primarily focused on educating myself and recruiting others. So has anyone joined yet based on my recruiting? Not that I'm aware of. So I would definitely rank above myself. And then based on what I heard from Tadas, I'd say Tadas is in the next spot above. So if we go down to be Tadas, Atma, then myself. That's my recommendation. So yeah, I'm still trying to learn more about this, and that's why the materials I think will help in my.
I think Tim's frozen.
Froze on my end as well.
Okay. He's making kind of a funny face while he froze.
Well, up there, Tim, we lost you for a sec.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Connections up and down.
So can you just confirm who we came to consensus with at number 5? I thought I'd written down to Dash, but maybe I misheard. The second position.
I think we reached consensus with Felix, although maybe I spoke too fast. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think that Tim and I both agreed on Felix, and I think I'm not sure. Did we definitely reach consensus with Felix?
Yeah, I think so.
Number 6, Felix at number 5, and Tadash at number 4. Is that correct? And we're now talking about number 3.
Dan is number 6, Felix is number 5, and now number 4, Tim suggested me, but I don't know if anyone else has other ideas.
Okay, yes, I agree then with you at number 4.
Okay.
So does Tim.
Yeah, I'm back.
Sounds good. I'm happy with that too.
Same.
And I'm going to recommend Atma for the next one.
Yeah, he said one of the people joined. He recruited one person. So
yes, one extra. Yeah.
Yes, so
I think I'm up to 5 now, 4 or 5, I forget.
It's awesome.
Good work.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay,
So no disagreement.
I have no objection.
All right, cool. Well, I guess we'll type it the way we'll enter it on the wax, so we can all kind of agree and check on each other that there's no typos, and then with the remaining time we could just talk it out about whatever we'd want to talk about.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
So it was at and then the name, right? Is that the
Yes.
Yeah. At and the hive handle. Looks good.
I think we're supposed to add that last one, as we've only got 5 people in the group. Just put position 1
actually,
at none or something like that.
Yeah, they changed that this week. Atma, they said we no longer need to do that.
So, anyone got anything to talk about?
So do we need for position 6 none? I mean for the first position 1 and none, or?
We don't need that this week. They made some changes, I heard. No longer need to do that.
So just put the top 5 when we post it on Hive, and then just don't put anything for 6?
Correct.
Yeah,
okay.
So I guess I didn't catch was everyone at the Eden election last week, or who?
I didn't join the Eden meeting. I'm not an Eden member. I do have, I think, 100 swap.eos on Hive, but I haven't got an EOS account.
Okay.
I
That was something that you. Oh, go ahead, Thomas.
I haven't joined Eden yet as well. I have been meaning to join it, but still didn't come around it before the election. So, yeah.
And Tim, you said that you weren't. Are you an Eden member?
No, I'm not. I'm not. It's hard for me to attend things other than work during the work week. But yeah, I may just be a fly on the wall if they'll let me do that next time.
Yeah, so Eden is a lot more passive. So it's they're working on changing like they proposed like, these bylaws. So the first election was 6 months ago, but they're I guess right now it's looking like they're going to change it to 3 months. So the next election will be 3 months from now. So if any of you guys are interested in getting Eden, I can we can set something up because you have to get invited by another Eden member, and then you have to have 2 other witnesses. So I'm sure Dan would be on board with being a witness as well, and we'd find another one. And yeah, so you guys can message us on Telegram if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, the onboarding process, it's not super tedious, no more than what we're doing here on Fractally. And then aside from, yeah, it'd be more passive, like you as far as the meetings, like your involvement would just, you would attend the election every 3 months if you choose. You don't have to, but ideally you want to. And you don't even have to run on anything, just being there to vote and help us reach and elect our, representatives of who's going to be the way. I mean, I guess we're still kind of figuring out who we're voting for, but the way I kind of look at it is like we're voting on representatives to manage funds. And so we want to have good leaders that we can trust to manage those funds well. And yeah, so getting more people to vote, especially I think from the Fractally community with the same ideas would be nice to have on Eden as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me take you up on that offer. Thanks, Felix.
Yeah, and I'll also second that too. And I would encourage Tim and Tadas and Atma to join, and I'd be happy to help induct you or serve as a witness along with Felix. And I'm happy to do that whenever you guys like. If you want to do it, basically anytime. It only takes like 3 minutes to do. Just get on a quick video call and just like say the introductory speech, and then it's very simple.
Thanks. Maybe I would be able to do it next week. So maybe I will write you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what I can do is I'll set up like a Telegram group chat of everyone in here, and then if anyone's interested, we can go from there if you want. Setting up because the most tedious thing is setting up the meeting with everybody who is witnessing the induction. So.
Yep, sounds good. Cool idea about setting up the Telegram group, Felix, and then feel free, Tadas, to share it there, or also you can do PM or share it in the public group or whatever. I mean, and whatever works as well.
Was everyone posted in Hive?
Not yet.
Sorry, administrative stuff. Just want to make sure it gets done.
Yeah, it's very good. I appreciate it. It's kind of a tight timeline with only like an hour to choose, and if you don't do that,
right,
then nobody gets respect. So it's important administrative stuff.
Shacruz is always the first one to post every time. I've noticed it. That guy is fast.
Yep.
Yeah, he's awesome. I never knew about Shacruz until meeting him in one of these meetings like a few weeks ago, and he's doing really, really awesome work. It's one of the great things about these Fractally meetings. You meet so many amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool because you meet somebody new, or you might get in a room with somebody that you might have met a couple of weeks ago, but then like this is I think the most best way to really build community though too, because now like we're incentivized to meet, but then also at the same time it does grow strength within the community, and then we may find common interests to be able to collab in areas that we're currently working on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the social aspects of Fractally and Eden too are really underrated. Like some people get it, but most people don't know what Fractally or Eden are yet in the world. A lot of people, even in the EOS community, don't see that aspect of it. But it's super helpful to meet everybody. And then also, like, I don't know if anybody listened to the live stream, but when the stakes are high, it can be really entertaining too. Like the commentators are going kind of wild, doing the play-by-play. So there's a lot of really fun social aspects.
Yeah, I'm excited to go through all the like different rooms for Eden to see, kind of from like watching it from the just seeing like how things were voted. Like I want to go see what your room too, because I know I had seen you were in the room with Michael right
Yeah.
before, and I saw votes were going back and forth, and that would be interesting to see how that all played out.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I was very tired. I only got like an hour of sleep or so, and so I'm not the proudest of my round two one. It was a bit messy, but the round one was better. But I mean, check it out, and it's very interesting. And that just me speaking from my own personal feelings about it with how I did. But of course, Michael is amazing, and so he gave like a fantastic, eloquent explanation, and I got to meet John Boyd and John Heater for a while, and also Angela, who's Chuck's friend. So yeah, it was really cool, and also Zachariah too, who's also really cool. Yeah,
Well, it's cool to see everyone reach consensus too, because that's huge. Like if groups aren't going to reach consensus, then those are kind of like red flags of like, ooh, like you're not willing to work with other people. Like, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's true. We almost didn't reach consensus because we had like a bunch of video errors, and so we didn't get people in, and then it cut out at the end, but while we were talking. So there were some tech errors, but yeah, it's good to see that. And then also, yeah, and watching all the Eden videos, I watched all of them from the past ones just to hear what everybody's doing, and yeah, it's super cool. You can learn so much about what people are doing from it.
Well, I've followed you all on Hive and voted your comments.
Thanks, Appa.
So,
Thanks,
so
Atma.
I only gave you 50% vote weight, so that probably gives you about a quarter of a Hive each.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
I mean, it's good that you can do this on Hive and it doesn't cost anything. It's not like you're giving Hive away, you just vote. And actually, when you vote, you earn some Hive as well as it going to the person you voted for. That's quite a good system. Thanks,
Very
Dan.
nice.
Not you, Dan. Well, you do, but the other Dan.
Yeah, Dan has done very good work, of course.
Yeah, when I found EOS and found out about his story, my thing was like, whatever his next project is, ideally it was going to be on EOS. It was like, we got to be there because, I mean, he does have that track record of really launching something that is disruptive. So the fact that we're all here early, like it's really exciting too, because, especially these relationships are going to be formed, and then if this explodes, and it's like we will be the future leaders of fractally communities and this fractal as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's if you think about, you can really build a fractal around anything. It can be I love cats, or it could be I want to impact local elections. It could be anything. So that's what's fascinating to me. I'm a product manager by nature and by career, so I'm always trying to understand how tech can be applied to solve a problem. And this model can be applied in just about anything. So I'm still trying to learn, still trying to understand the application, on the human factor side, if you will. So getting in early, I'm excited to be here and just trying to learn as much as I can.
Yeah, sounds great, Tim. And yeah, same here. And it's super exciting for all the I Love Cats fractals and local leadership fractals and everything. I think that we're gonna have fractals for everything, and it's gonna be awesome bringing so many people together and doing so many awesome things, amazing things.
Yeah, I had brought up in like one of my meetings. I kind of envision this being like potentially a way to like as jobs automate like or as machines or technology automates jobs away. Fractally, like this type of form might be a way for people to receive like a basic form of UBI, universal basic income, just by coming in, because that is valuable. Like your voice it does matter, and so there is value in that. And so I mean that's better than just a give out. Like you have to show up and vote and reach consensus with others, and then that's just beneficial in so many ways too, because like just meeting new people, putting yourself out there opens up doors. And yeah, this thing can be turned into something really beautiful.
Absolutely. It also reminded me a bit of your recent Pamela video too, where in the beginning you're talking about, I don't remember exactly what you were saying, but about how like creativity is like now with this era of human age, to speak well, how it's like we're all going to be being so much more creative than ever before. I'm probably totally misremembering exactly what you said, but it reminded me of that, and I think it's related.
Yeah, we got to find something to replace. Like humans have to have a purpose. If not, we're just going to go crazy. So
yeah, and Fractally can help us with like really great purposes to achieve really big problems and to make things really amazing in so many ways with people.
yeah, we're in a crazy spot in like just human history as well. Like this will go down as a big shift in what humanity becomes. At least that's my kind of belief.
Yeah, I agree. The singularity is near, as I say.
It's ramping up for sure.
Yeah.
But if we do get broken out, it was a pleasure talking to every one of you guys and getting to know each and one of you a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I look forward to future meetings, and hopefully I'll see you guys around.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great meeting everybody. And yeah, feel free to reach out to Eden guys anytime. And then just so awesome meeting with you. And thanks everybody.
Cool. Good job, everyone.
Yeah, good job.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Here, guys. I think. Do we have to leave the room or?
It says closing in 6 seconds.
We do now.
Perfect timing.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, take care.
Recording in progress.
Hey, everybody. Let me change these mute settings. It can be a little more free-flowing for a sec. Oh, Goku still has his hand up. I wonder if that's from before. Goku, you can unmute yourself. I just posted the link again to the, make sure you're on the correct post, April 16th, and that's where you can add your comments with your consensus for today. How did things go? Anyone want to share anything? Any questions or comments?
I just want to say that I was in a group with some amazing contributors, and that it's incredibly hard to rank everyone. So I just can't thank everyone enough for showing up here, contributing to the Fractally process, helping raise awareness in the world about fractal governance and its solution to the problems with democracy and governance and the rise and fall of civilizations over time. Your contribution here as a pioneer in this new form will, I think, provide long-term benefits to all of humanity. So yes, there's not enough thanks, not enough respect that I can give everyone just for being here and helping make this a reality. So thank you.
We had an issue in our group. We were group one, and Brandon Fancher was in the group, and I was trying to wonder, could we award more points to the 6th level, because he actually saved my life last Saturday, and that was such a huge achievement. I don't know if we can award more than bonus points, but I had about 15 seconds left in the Eden election, and because of Brandon and Clarion Fractally Group's coding skills, I was able to help get Chuck McDonald across the finish line. And so that was, it was both hilarious and scary, but the bottom line, it was great coding and UI development by the developing team. Thanks, you guys.
Gave you a power-ups as well. Welcome.
So everyone, this is your time to reach out to Dan and use for any Q&A that you may have. Feel free to raise your hand. I see Goku, you have your hand raised, and then Andrew Wire.
Yeah, I had one question about the teams. Is there a place where I can see the list of current teams that are there on Fractally?
Now that would be a good question for Josh and Gregory, who are tracking things right now.
Yeah, your question is about seeing the current teams?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, I believe there's only one team. I believe it's the Fractally team so far, and I think other ones are in the process of forming. There were some questions about it today. I don't think we have anything separate that's showcasing that. Just the teams, because we only have the one.
The tally sheet does show the teams that are there. There's a page in there that shows the teams. And the document that you've seen with regards to the Go Fractally documents describes how you would go about forming a team and posting your proposal on Hive.
Yeah, so the very end of the Fractal contributor agreement, which I'll post again in the chat here, has instructions for how to create a team. But it looks like right now we officially only have the Fractally team that's been formed. But there, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that should do. I'll get back to you with further questions later. I had another question, if I can go ahead.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd like to, anyone interested in joining a team, go ahead and just mention it in the chat log, because it's worthwhile being on a team. It doubles your respect. You don't have to be like super formal. The purpose of teams is to have long-term accountability and balancing it out. So find other people that you enjoy working with, and you get a budget that you get to allocate amongst yourselves as you can reach consensus. So the only real requirement for joining a team is that you join a team with people who are committed and that you think will be fair. And that's an easy way of doubling your respect. So I strongly encourage everyone to, if you haven't joined a team, try to find other people. Keep in mind that when you join a team, you cannot leave a team and move to another team until this final software comes out. So choose your team wisely, and teams are limited to at most 12 people and at least 4 people. All right, back to you.
Yep. I was discussing the same thing in my team as well. I was looking at what are the public goods that I've been part of, and I was trying to see which one would benefit the max by bringing in the Fractally governance. And Drupal is an open source project which I'd been part of, and I had seen some concerns about the Drupal association, which generally manages the governance of Drupal. So I was trying to see how I can bring in fractally governance into Drupal association. So I just wanted some general input from the group as to like how I can go about starting those conversations and the process. That was the first thing. So fractally for governance would be a good start. And I was also looking at incentivization of the developers who generally contribute to the Drupal, because I consider Drupal as a platform is creating a lot of value, but sadly it is not able to capture that value. So some sort of tokenization or like some sort of incentivization that we can do through fractal governance, I think that would be great. So these are the 2 points where I'm looking for some feedback and suggestions.
I would say that when it comes to things like that, that's a perfect example of a fractal that would run on fractally. Every open source project, particularly one with a large community like Drupal, or anyone who's either working on Drupal or building an app with Drupal, anyone who has a stake in the future should be able to participate. So right now, I'd say just raise awareness, and then later this year, when our software is ready to automate all this stuff a little bit better, and people can, with a couple clicks, create a fractal and sign up for the fractal and start participating in meetings. There's a certain critical mass that's necessary, right? 30 participants like we have here is about how many people you need to get on board. So I would suggest, raising awareness. It'll probably take 3 or 4 months to get 30 plus Drupal people. But yeah, thank you very much for seeing the use case, which is every open source project that's got a large community and needing in some way to compensate the army of volunteers that are building the ecosystem. Andrew.
Do you think it would make sense to invite them to these Saturday sessions also, or do you think it would be premature and may not make much sense for them?
I think only people that are passionate about the philosophy of the governance process in general should be here right now. If they're only interested in Drupal and it's a means to an end to them, then they'll probably be better off coming after it's automated for that purpose. You don't want to burn people out on things prematurely, but I do think there's a lot of people that understand the problems with the world and see this as a solution. And those are the people who value the process for the process sake versus valuing the process as a means to get paid.
Those are some really great questions. All right, Andrew.
Yeah, so I was just responding to what you were asking initially about how the process went. In our group, it went quite well. I have noticed it's still. I seem to remember others mentioning this before, but the lower rankings are more difficult to decide upon, or at least in our group it was, which I guess is not the. It's better than the higher rankings because the difference between the highest and second highest is much larger than the difference between the lowest and second lowest, but just an observation that I had.
That's probably goes with the scientific measuring limitations, right? Our resolution and our ability to measure it is just not very precise, and so we give it our best shot and average it over time.
Absolutely.
Douglas?
Hey, so my question is sort of in relation to what Gokul was talking about, and the general problem is how can we better facilitate that other communities as well as other cultures, which may have a different sort of process, like valuing relationships as opposed to a contribution. So my question is, how is fractally planning, or are there any plans to develop a sort of framework that other people can then modify, and then this framework lays out how you can better onboard to create your own process? Because this process, when we're actually in the meetings, is being defined now, but it's not defined in the white paper. So I think there's a lot of leeway to say, here's a structure which you can build another structure on top of.
Yeah, so fractally is going to be a set of smart contracts and open source UI elements, and each fractal will have its own contract. It can start with our template, and then they can modify it if they want to have things done at a smart contract level. They can also have subjective bylaws, which are not implemented in smart contract, but are enforced by just convention in the meeting, kind of like what we have here. The Hive blockchain doesn't really enforce anything, but we have our conventions that we're using. We have the processes that are ranking people. So I think there's lots of room for communities to experiment and use the tools, and the tools are extensible and will be extensible for different communities to adopt. And I think that there's going to be room for kind of like themes for websites, for many different themes to come up on how you can organize your fractal, and then people mix and match. Patrick?
Some great questions and feedback.
That's not a question, that's more constatation that I have made after the April 2nd Fractally stand-up meeting. I was thinking, okay, now we have the stand-up meetings. After the stand-up meetings, the information, we have a lot of information. How can we encourage the participants to the stand-up meetings to make a proof of their contributions in order that at the next stand-up meeting, when they are speaking into their room, they can have a kind of proof of their contribution. And I was thinking, okay, I do the mind maps, as you know, and I was thinking, okay, I will create a new mind map named Fractally Stand-Up Meeting. It is already into the Mighty network, into the where he has to be, into the Fractally group. This is this Fractally Stand-Up Meeting. I was making doing a video explaining how to use this mind map and how to send data to this mind map. And I update this mind map when I receive the data through a web form. And shout out Andrew Ware, he has made the job. He has used the web form and he has sent his contribution. Douglas Butner also, he has not used the web form, but after the April 2nd, he has made a YouTube video about Jay Taylor and Samara's feedback on the social aspect of the Fractally stand-up meeting. So I have added that directly to this mind map. Now we have already 2 contributions. And this mind map is not only for the contribution, it is also to have links to Let's Get Ready to Fractal, the weekly stand-up meeting event, and also a link to another mind map, the Fractally one, the Fractally mind map. So I will post here again that. So if you go on gofractally.com on this link, you will see exactly what I think when I say FPOC. It's Fractally Proof of Contribution. And Fractally Proof of Contribution, that's to collect and share the weekly Fractally Proof of Contribution over the different stand-up meetings. Sorry for my English. And there are 2 links. One link is the mind map itself. You can click on the mind map, Joshua. And you see already into the category contribution, you see that there is Douglas Butner with his video. And there is a little note because he has put into the video description a note explaining about his video. If you click on the note, Joshua, click on the note, the little note. Okay. On the right, you have the note. And I have taken what he has said into his video description, comment of Jay, etc., about social aspect. And Andrew Ware, he has made, this is a Google document where he explained how the EOS funds could go. ENF give the funds to Eden because there are, to Pomelo, for example, because there are a matching partner for Pomelo. They are also giving the funds to Eden. You can have a different liquidity pool. So I love this this brain of Taucht, of Andrew on that, because he has made he has take time to do so. So go they zoom a little bit this mind map that we can see entirely. Okay. Click the node see all participants. You have in green the people that are in green, that's the Eden members. The people that are in blue, that's the people that are not in Eden, but that have their social Hive account connected. So for example, if you click on Andrew Ware, you arrive directly on his induction profile into the EOS Atomic Hub. And you can see his bio if you are going down. There is a bio going down, and etc. So this mind map, the Fractally stand-up meeting, send your contribution. If you click into the node on the center, you arrive onto the Go to Fractally website. If you click the link.
So the main thing that you want to submit here is that if you go to the link that you put there, you can submit your data.
Yeah,
you can go to this form.
If you click on the submit data to this mind map, you have to put the URL. Andrew Ware has used this web form, so he knows. He has put his URL. It's mandatory. The category, its contribution, and the contribution title that you want to see. And the rest, the name, the Hive account, and the Twitter handle. If you want to divulge, sorry to say, if you made a contribution, you need to have the balls. Because if you do a contribution, you need to show who you are. You have to put your name at least, your first name, your last name, and your Hive account or your Twitter handle. If you don't have yet an Hive account, put your Twitter handle. If you don't have all that, at least put your first name and last name. We are not bot. So you are contributing, you are doing your contribution. We are human. So we have to do. And what I want to say here is do what you say, and then love what you do, and finally know why you love. Very important. If you can answer to these three questions, you are able to contribute. And you have to contribute because you believe into the fractal paradigm, and there is no competition between Eden and Fractally. This is the fractal paradigm in nature. So you go with this mind map to make your proof of contribution. And this mind map, the context, the mission statement of this mind map, I am not yet a mission statement, but now I see, it's to have a memory, a track record of what we are doing here. And that I will use for any meeting. I will use always a mind map. So for example, Fractally brainstorming session on Monday with Jesse Jaffe and myself to speak about, and Dan Sinjoy, and Joshua, he was also, Douglas Butner was also. I love you guys. So on the Monday, it's 19 UTC or 14 UTC. And there we are updating a mind map because we are brainstorming. At the end of this mind map, we will do what? We reach consensus on the best ideas, the best information that we have turned into knowledge. So does mind map help us to turn ideas, information into knowledge? And we are not focused on the people, we are focused first on their ideas. Because you can love someone today, and maybe the next week no more. And why? Because this week you are agreeing with some of these ideas, and next week maybe no more. So you don't have to love the people. However, that we love the people for sure, but we have to love the ideas first. So go into this mind map. And this mind map has also a link, a blue branch about Fractally MindWeb mind map when a category is in blue background and white foreground, that means that is a link to another mind map. And a mind map that is pointing to another mind map is a fractal mind map. And when a mind map has no link with other mind map, is a standalone mind map. So this mind map is a fractal mind map because he has a link with another mind map. So guys,
thank
go
you,
there,
Patrick.
and there is no obligation. Do that only if you know what you do and you love what you do, and say what and do what you say. Very important. Otherwise, do nothing because it is a waste of time.
I submitted the form with a public Notion page for my recent contributions that I mentioned in my meeting, in my breakout room today. So I hope I see my picture show up on that mind map when you approve it or something.
I will update for sure.
Thank you, Patrick.
And why I update myself? Because that's need a human intervention. The mind map cannot be updated always automatic. I have developed a Discord bot for the MindWeb Store Discord server. I have developed a Discord bot that is able to extract the category of a Discord server and the threads and create a mind map automatically. No required human intervention. But for this kind of mind map, that's need a human intervention to update the mind map because I have to see if the submission that I receive through the web form are a real contribution or maybe joking contribution. So I will take into account the contribution that are about fractally, how to evolve fractally ecosystem.
Very
And
good.
that's all.
Super cool, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah, we will see how many people contribute. I would say it's not the number that is the very important here. That's the quality, because the number we need growing the respect, the value of the respect. But the value of the respect is not only about monetary sense. It's also about what you are doing to make growing this value. It's a spectrum. So it's not only about monetary sense. Monetary will come. That will be the normal de facto result. But first you have to contribute. So by doing so, without to be rewarded currently, we see who are really the people that want to contribute. Because if we were already rewarded now, you have maybe only people that will come because they know, we will be rewarded. Oh, money, nice, okay. And they will not contribute correctly. So at least...
Oh, rest assured, I sent something too.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah. I love fractally, for sure. That's the natural way.
So we're going to wind down the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to play a golden proportion outro for the recording. And then there has been a request from Dan, Singjoy, and some other people to maybe just kind of leave the room open in case people want to hang out and just, like if you go to a meeting and you go to like a restaurant or something afterward, members have been really enjoying that. So I'll make Dan, Singjoy, and maybe someone else a host. But that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week. I hope everyone will join us. I hope you're able to get somebody to come. And we're going to try to get the participation as quickly as we can, up to about 100 members or more, and start going to round 2, which I think is going to make the experiment a lot more exciting. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a little bit of a longer meeting because we're going to be, for those who want to continue, we'll be going to the next round. And I'm pretty excited for that. Anything you guys want to say in closing, Gregory or Dan?
I said my bit earlier. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.
I want to say thank you, Dan, for all what you do.
Thank you.
Because you are always there and you are resilient, accountable. We love you all. At least I speak for me. I love you, man. You are Dan the man. No, it's true. It's not like a kind of cream. The best cream. No, I say what I think, as always. So you are a good guy, and we love you. I have the alarm into my eyes now.
We appreciate you being here, Dan. It means a lot.
Dan,
and everybody else.
He could go on Bahamas or into an island, and he's always here. So,
he might be on an
and
island.
You know
we
what,
don't
guys?
know.
You know what, guys? I will say that. Don't take my words bully.
Wait, just a minute, Patrick. I'm gonna.
Fractally on EOS, please.
Close the
We love
recording.
EOS. We have to leverage EOS. Fractally on EOS, baby. Next brainstorming session on Monday.
All right, Patrick.
Come on our.
Thank you, everyone.
Recording stopped.
All right. So some folks might hang around here, and I think most of us are going to kind of jump off. Dan, do you mind being the host, Mr. Singjoy?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to be the host.
All right.
There is two Dan, and the two are the man.
That was awesome, Patrick. As you were giving like the speech, you sounded like a movie narrator as the dramatic music was coming on.
No, I want to say what I think. And there was sometimes I was not able to say what I think because I was in a momentum to think about, okay, if I say something, maybe that will be seen as not good. And now, you know what? I fucking don't care. I say what I want to say. I do what I want to do. And I will go where I want to go. And I fucking don't care what the people think about.
Hell yeah.
That doesn't mean, sorry to say, that doesn't mean that I don't love the people. I love the people. But I came to the conclusion, indeed, the ideas and the information matter most than the people themselves. And I am not repeating a sentence that I read into a book. I live that. Currently that I'm speaking, I live that in my life. You can be in people 100% of your time, and indeed, if you abstract of those people, you say, okay, this is a human as me, he is no more better than me, he is no more successful than me. We are just human and we are sharing information, ideas, and at the end you turn that into beautiful knowledge, and we have a fucking EOS ecosystem, yeah baby. You know what? We have an EOS ecosystem as it should be. And forget about the words, because we are here sometimes to think we are speaking about fractally, we are speaking about hidden, we are speaking about DAC or about DAO. So forget for a moment about those words and think only to be collaborative between yours, with your circle. And when you see common values between your circle and another circle, collaborate with those guys without to think always about that, because that's the natural, I would say, deserved way to have money. That's to doing the things with the heart, with the soul and the mind. And that's not just word into a book. That's real. That's come from the heart. All is coming from the heart. If you are doing the things with the heart at first, without to think a second about the monetary value sense, that's beautiful things that you can accomplish onto this earth, or let's say into this ecosystem that we are living since 2018. We are believing on EOS, and if you don't believe on EOS, you are not to be here. If you believe on EOS, you have to build on top of EOS. And EOS is the mainnet, that's the settlement layer. It's logical that the solutions are built on top of this ecosystem. That's the best blockchain-based ecosystem. That's public and permissionless. That's resilient. That's difficult to attack. There is no single point of failure. And that's not words. We are the 16th April, not on your paper, what I said now. And if it is not happening, okay, I go to jail. But I say, EOS, the mainnet, is the entry point to go to other blockchain protocols. That's the entry point. That's the settlement layer. That's the radio station.
So Patrick, thank you for
And,
the passionate
and Dan
speech.
Larimer, if he is here still, he will say, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Or Dan Sinjoy, you can say, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. And I see Jorge or George, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, has had his hand up for a while.
Okay, or it's fine.
So go make your proof of contribution into the mind map, please. So Douglas, I count on you. Huh?
Did you say me, my contribution in the mind map?
No, I say to Douglas.
Oh, Douglas, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
Jorge.
Yeah,
Hey,
I wanted
guys.
to ask.
I'm going to try to join on mobile. I got to head out.
Okay, see you, Marco.
There is no rush. Huh? You can do that when you want. You have until the next week to do.
I'm trying to get on mobile. If I get on, you'll see me again.
I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah. And Lenny is always here. Fantastic. I love you.
So what were you saying,
and
Jorge?
Doug.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys during the. Well, this is my first time here. First of all, thank you all, and I'm very honored. During the introduction session, Joshua said something about several tasks we had to do first. One of them was to get a Hive account. I already had one. Second one was to read the white paper, or at least skim it. I done that already. To agree to the Genesis Fractal contributor agreement, I did that too. Is there anything else to do?
I don't know. Can anybody think of anything? I think that includes everything that you need to do. And by the way, welcome. Thanks for joining.
One thing
you are welcome to do.
And you got I've never seen an interviewer with such a spontaneous rant.
No, you do what you want. You do what you want. That's freedom here. That's not jail. You do what you want.
Well, but there also are things. There also are things
okay.
you have to do though, like doing the Hive post and signing the agreement, and just basic stuff.
I will do a mind map. If you not do your contribution, you receive a claim.
One note for Jorge.
Yes.
Just one more thing to do is make sure that you have posted whatever your consensus was for the room that you were in onto Hive.
Yeah.
With the correct syntax.
Hive.
With the correct syntax. Otherwise, it's not valid. Huh?
Yep. Yeah, that's to be posted.
I think I have made a semicolon.
Having a Hive account, accepting the agreement, and posting my consensus, the consensus for my group, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I think that's it.
And you say, I agree to the...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, baby. Okay.
So, Jorge, so welcome to the group, and then I'm curious to learn how you learned about the group, and also how it's been, and being your first time, what your experience has been like.
Well, it's been pretty fun. Yeah, I'm pretty happy and honored, as I said before, to be here. I think the process is getting better. I see a lot of detail being fixed and tuned, maybe is the word. I'm gladly surprised by Patrick spontaneousness, maybe.
Yeah, I am not always like this. I am not always like this. That's a premiere for today. I was not always able to be so as I want to speak indeed.
Yeah, because every time you're interviewing someone,
that's the first time that I say exactly what I want to say publicly. Hopefully we are not a lot of people, but I don't care. We can be 11 people, 1,000 people. I will say the same.
And the other thing is, I'm quite surprised by the level of production you as a culture have. I mean, I can feel the impetus of delivering.
I am here since October 2017. Already into the dawn of EOS.io EOS. And when that was finally launched on June 14, 2018, that was champagne because they are a block producer.